What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another Should You Pull video, where I give you my reasons why you should or should not be pulling for certain banners upcoming to Dissidia Opera Omnia. In this video, we are going to be concentrating on the Aphmau'S chapter banner, which features her EX, which is brand new to the global version of the game, as well as Lion's returning EX in the banner. You can get both their 15 and 35 CP weapon here, and the third wheel for this one is going to be Prish, which you can grab her 15 and 35 CP weapon as well. Now before we start, I would just like to thank you everyone for getting into the 150 like goal for the previous Should You Pull video. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully you still click like and subscribe in this video if you haven't already, because it really helps me out. The like goal for this video, let's stick to maybe 175 likes this time around, and hopefully we can make it. And as promised, this video is going to be coming out early. So without further ado, let's start this video. Okay guys, so we'll start this off with a returning EX, which is Lion's EX called Vajra. This gives her the EX ability called Walk the Plank, which is a 4-hit AoE melee brave plus HP attack, which also increases its brave damage dealt when there's only a single target. This will have a 120% max brave overflow, and the HP damage dealt is going to be split equally amongst all enemies. This will also remove all enemy buffs and will recover one use of her sneak attack up to its initial value. Now this will also have a variant called Walk the Plank Light, which pretty much triggers when she's following an ally's turn. This will trigger an additional 4-hit Holy Magic Brave attack plus HP attack at the end, and this will have a slightly slow recast speed. At 1 out of 3, this will increase the brave damage dealt, at 2 out of 3, increasing the max brave overflow limit of the stolen brave, and at 3 out of 3, this will increase its recast speed. Now if you do decide to realize this weapon, at 0 out of 3 this will increase its brave hit counts to 6 and increasing its brave potency. You'll also get access to her HP attack plus while you're buff. This is going to be a 2-hit melee brave plus HP attack, and this deals extra brave damage when attacking an enemy not targeting herself. This will also slightly raise her max brave overflow limit as well with the stolen brave. At 1 out of 3 when using Walk the Plank or the Walk the Plank Light, this will now inflict a action delay up on all enemies for 6 turns. To us, it's going to be a turn rate down. I believe that's the English equivalent to that. This will also increase her max brave and attack permanently, and at 2 out of 3 when the quest starts, she will have a max brave up, a critical rate up, and a small attack up buff for 8 turns. And finally, at 3 out of 3 when using Walk the Plank or the Walk the Plank Light, this will now do a 4-hit AoE melee brave plus HP attack, which is triggered twice. This will also raise the brave by 20% of the HP damage dealt after both HP attacks, increasing its brave potency once again and increasing the max brave overflow limit. The bonus sphere for this one is Sneak Raging Attack Up. When attacking an enemy not targeting herself, this will now increase your attack by 3% up to 5 times, and this can only be activated once per turn, and the same spears will not stack. Okay guys, so after hearing all this information regarding Lion's EX plus her realization, how much ingots should you be spending on Lion if she's a character you want to use moving forward? Now, since Lion is technically a damage dealer, I gotta say you gotta go big or go home with Lion as well. 0 out of 3 or 3 out of 3. 0 out of 3 mainly because this is where she accesses her HP attack plus, which is, again, for longevity reasons, you may want to keep. She does already have an increase of her abilities after her EX for her, at least one of her abilities, which is the sneak attack. You know, that's longevity right there. So having an extra HP attack plus is already really good. However, if you really want to use Lion, I nearly said lightning. If you really want to use Lion moving forward as a damage dealer slash buffer, you really need to go 3 out of 3 with her, because she needs to do as much damage as she can. So again, 0 out of 3 if you just need sort of like a damage dealer slash debuffer, and 3 out of 3 if you're a big fan and you really want to use Lion moving forward. Okay guys, now let's move on to Aphmau', which actually will be getting a rework for her Lost Chapter. She was already a 35 CP legend, and now she's gonna be a much bigger legend than she was. So let's start off with her first ability, Shield Subverter. So a few changes happen here. The first thing is now she increases the party's brave by 30% of her max brave before she does her brave attacks, whereas before I do believe it was just her, and she increases her brave hit counts by 4 as well. This also will have an increase in potency by 40%, and she will still have that 150% max brave overflow, which I think should be there. The same thing with all her buffs is still remains intact, and when she's using her Brave Attack Plus Fine Tuning, this now increases the Brave gain based on her max Brave by 10%, and she will also extend the Maging's Tactics by 1 turn and extends the Allies Automaton by 1 turn, which I do believe still stays the same pretty much. Now her second ability, 6th Element Extend, will be getting an increase in potency by 180%, and she will have a 150% max brave overflow, which I do believe stays the same. The biggest change to me here is going to be the 50% splash damage to non-targets, and still everything else remains the same in terms of her the effects of her buffs, and of course when she's using HP attack plus optimization, this will have an increased potency by 110%, which I do believe still stays the same pretty much, and everything else stays the same. Extends on Ovjang's Tactics by 1 turn and extends Allies Automaton by 1 turn. Alright guys, now let's move on to her EX. So her EX weapon is called Kenkonken, which gives her the EX ability called Activation and Imperial Authority. She will have 2 turns of special effects of Ovjang and Maging. This will trigger the Imperial Authority EX ability, which is going to be a 4-hit melee brave plus HP attack, and the Stolen Brave can overflow up to 150% of her max brave. Now while Ovjang and Maging is active, her Brave attack will turn into a HP attack Maging, which basically increases the party's Brave by 20% of her max Brave, and will do a 3-hit melee Brave plus HP attack, and increasing her own Brave by 20% after the HP damage is dealt. This will give the allies 4 turns of Automaton and Fine Tuning. This also extends her own buff by 1 turn. This will have no action delay, will not increase the turn count, and however will still decrease the friend support and summon action count. Now her HP attack will turn to HP attack Ovjang, which is going to be a 3-hit AoE magic brave attack plus a AoE HP attack. This increases the brave damage dealt by 60% if there's only a single target. This will have a 150% max brave overflow and deals proportionate HP damage to each target. This will give the targets 4 turns of 20% speed down, and the allies will have 4 turns of Automaton and Optimization. This also extends her own buff by 1 turn. There is no action delay again and no increase in her turn count, and this will decrease still the friend support and summon action count. This will also have a slightly fast recast speed, and at 1 out of 3 this increases the brave damage dealt. At 2 out of 3, when using Imperial Authority, she will now have 4 turns of Resolute Courage buff, which basically raises her own max brave and attack by 50% and increasing the party's initial brave by 40%. At 3 out of 3, this again increases the recast speed of her EX ability. Okay guys, so if you do decide to reanalyze this weapon, at 0 out of 3 when using Imperial Authority, the brave hit counts become 6 now, and it will have a 120% total brave potency. This will also have a 50% increase in the max brave overflow limit. At 1 out of 3, this will raise her max brave by 60% and her attack by 40%. At 2 out of 3, when the quest starts, she will have Ovjang's Tactics and Maging's Tactics. This will also fill up her EX gauge to the max as well. The buffs will last for 4 turns, and at 3 out of 3, the brave hit counts will increase to 8, the total brave potency by 160%, and the stolen brave will again increase by another 50%. Her HP attack Maging becomes HP attack plus Maging, basically increasing the brave potency by 60%. The stolen brave can overflow up to 120% and will recover the party's HP by 80% of the HP damage dealt, with a limit of 30% of their max HP. Her HP attack of Jang will become HP attack plus plus of Jang, which increases the brave hit count to 4 and increasing its total brave potency and the stolen brave. The bonus for you're getting for this one is buff success based along. After granting a buff, it raises the party's initial brave by 10% for 6 turns. Okay guys, so after hearing all this information regarding Aphmau'S rework and of course her EX and her realization, how much Ingus should you be spending if you want to use Aphmau' moving forward? Honestly, to me, she has to go 3 out of 3. That's minimum, and obviously that's maximum as well, only because her main issue before was mainly just the damage dealing part, and you know, you can sort of fix that if you go 3 out of 3. The brave hit counts increases to 8, which makes sure she actually caps most of the time. I guess the only issue is it doesn't trigger twice. You don't get a double HP attack attached to her EX, but her EX is already really powerful because you get access to free turns basically every time you use her EX. And honestly speaking, this has a very fast recast speed, so you can really abuse her EX ability and of course her HP attacks and make sure that your party has the buff that they need. So I really highly recommend, if you really want to chase after Aphmau', to go 3 out of 3. She sort of fixes the one sort of weakness she had, which was the damage output, but a lot of free turns really helps her out. Not to mention, you can start the fight with her EX at the beginning as well, and that would mean like free turns galore for you, and I really do highly recommend, again, just going 3 out of 3. Alright guys, we're finally at the end of this video, and the final question remains, should you pull? Now to me, this was a very hard decision whether to pull or not. As you guys know, I went really big on Aphmau'. I used quite a lot of tickets and I got him, and I realized him to 3 out of 3, just so you guys know. And to me, if you have Aphmau' already, this is kinda skippable, but I would still highly recommend using tickets and try and pull for Aphmau'S EX, because she's so great in her own right that I think like between her and Aphmau' is just like a race. Aphmau' has more of a damage potential because of Obsidian, and Aphmau' has a variant of support, so she has 2 different stances when it comes to her support, and it's really amazing. You can really think of her like Ignis, which, you know, Ignis doesn't have a lot of turn delays as well. Like he would like get his turns instantly, and that's what Aphmau' does when she uses her EX. She gets like free turns for 2 turns, so it's a really amazing ability to do that, and it doesn't increase the turn count as well, whereas Ignis it will. So she's a variant of Ignis, a much better Ignis in my opinion. And I guess if you already have Aphmau' like me, you're sort of like, well, do I really need it? I still suggest you use your tickets on it if you already have Aphmau'. But to those people who didn't pull for Aphmau', you can use your gems on this banner. I highly suggest trying to chase for Aphmau'. She's a very good support character. However, the downside in this banner is really going to be Lion. I will say that she's below Mediacore in my opinion with her realizations. It's nice, but it doesn't bring anything new to the table. We've seen this, you know, realization over and over now, and I just wish they did something else with her, but what can you do? So again, pull if you need a support character. Definitely pull if you need a support character. If you didn't go for Aphmau', I would suggest pulling on this, even with just your tickets. And again, you can use your gems if you're really not wanting anything else in the future. But again, guys, the problem right now is there is the burst in LD era coming soon, which is in 2 months time. So yeah, even though I say pull for this, just think of that in the back of your head, that there is the LD and burst era coming soon, and it's really hard to recommend characters right now because of that. But I think Aphmau really can really carry her own, and she's a very powerful support character. Anyway guys, those are my opinions for this video. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help my channel, guys, and I really do appreciate it. And I really want to thank you again for reaching the 150 like goals from the previous Should You Pull video. Let's aim for that 175 likes on this video. And also follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. Also leave down in the comments below, are you going to pull on this banner? Let me know who you're after. Are you after Lion or are you after Aphmau? And let me know as well if you are someone like me who got Alpha, and if you are planning to pull on this banner despite you already having Alpha. Anyway guys, this is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.